Hi friends, welcome to Lotus in the Light. My name's Jennifer. Um, boy, let's chat today. I haven't been doing a lot of videos the last few weeks, last few months, honestly. I've been in a real hermit mode and really inward, doing a lot of just a lot of cyclical, like a cycle of healing, a cycle of learning, growing, integrating that learning. And when I say integrating that learning, I mean just going through experiences in life that are allowing me to face those things that I'm learning and put to kind of put to the test. I hate to say it in that term, but fully embody and live out my beliefs that in a way that, then those experiences allow me to assess, am I really living into this new belief, or am I still clinging or hanging on to old beliefs that I no longer hold, but yet the patterns of behavior still are my path of least resistance, and trying to learn to like carve out new patterns of behavior. This week was very interesting. I actually had two experiences that kind of turned out the same. What I've been learning over the last year and a half, is that it's not my job to heal anyone, to fix anyone, to improve anyone's circumstances. Um, that doesn't mean we can't help people in life, don't get me wrong. But it's not my responsibility to do that for anyone except myself. And the same for each of you. And that might sound very selfish, but this comes from a place of learning and discovering just who we are at the basic fundamental level, and understanding that I cannot help anyone until I help myself, or unless I help myself. And in fact, we all learn through experience. So even when I have an experience and I come through something maybe very painful, and I come out of the on the other side feeling like I really learned some valuable lessons, and then I see someone going through a similar thing, and I want to tell them, hey, like try this, do this. This is what I learned. This is, we want to expect them to learn from our mistakes and then avoid those mistakes themselves. And we're hurt when they don't listen, or we're afraid when they don't listen, right? But the reality is, we learned ourselves through that experience because that's what we came here to do. We came to this earth experience to experience. And for that reason, it's not that we can't learn from other people's words of wisdom, but we're not going to fully integrate that learning into our life until we experience it ourselves. And we may experience it once and learn it and figure it out and check the box and be done with that experience, that lesson, that um, reality for ourselves. Or we might fumble and we might stumble and we might have to get it, have that experience or a similar experience or that lesson in general over and over again. It might take different shapes and forms each time, but it just, if you feel like things are happening in your life over and over and over and over, there's a reason. And it's just simply that you're having these experiences for the purpose of growth and expansion, but you haven't quite grasped the lesson and grown and expanded. And so it's not a bad thing. We all move at the exact right pace that we need to move at, and we need to not have expectations of how quickly somebody else should pick up on something, or have expectations on how quickly we ourselves should pick up on something. But I will say this: if you're experiencing things that you no longer want to experience, you're not being punished. That is God's way of showing you that what it really means is that you've said, hey, I want more of this in my life. And God is saying yes, because that's the universe's job is in this reality for us is to basically, create the reality that we want to create, right? So we are manifesting the reality that we want to manifest. The universe is going to be impartial and unbiased. If you say you want it, they're going to give it to you. However, oftentimes we're asking for things, but there's these big barriers in the way that keep us from getting to those things. So the universe says yes, but then very quickly, the painful process of overcoming the barriers to get to it sets in. And so all of a sudden, maybe you were cruising along in life and everything felt good. And then all of a sudden this doesn't feel so good anymore. And that's just spirit saying, hey, there's this thing. And when you get over this thing, you're going to learn and grow, and life is going to be even better, and you're going to be even closer to that which you really desire. And this is going to help you to get there. And sometimes where you're trying to get to, that thing that you're hoping for, isn't in our limited capacity to understand, isn't perfect, isn't our highest and best, but your soul, your higher self, God knows what your highest and best is and wants to help you. And they know the root of what it is that you're asking for. So for example, if you're saying, I really, really would like this kind of partner in my life, or I really, really would like this kind of job in my life, or I really, really want kids. Um, spirit speaks in energy. So what that energy might really be saying is, you're interpreting it in the physical reality that I want kids, I want a family, but what spirit's hearing is I want unconditional love. The spirit says, okay, you already have unconditional love. You just can't find it. You can't remember it because of the distorted beliefs that you hold. So I'm going to keep showing you all the ways that your beliefs are distorted. And what that means is having experiences that make you feel negative in some way, because that negative feeling is the breadcrumb from spirit that's showing you that you're believing something that's out of alignment. And if you can face that, and you don't have to. So this is where I struggled this last week. Over the last year, I had really learned, um, again, it's not my job to heal or fix anyone else. And that historically was my thing. Like I felt like my purpose in this life was to, help everybody find their salvation, or help everybody get up out of poverty, or help everybody get out of unhealthy relationships, or help everybody overcome their addictions, or help, whatever, you name it. And I felt like that was my job, was to give of myself and give 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 and give, right? And I found great satisfaction in it most of the time. So I really was giving from a cheerful heart. But what I've come to learn again is that because we're each here to have those experiences, we're each here to learn certain lessons, and I don't know what you're here to learn. So for me to say you shouldn't have to go through this experience because I already have the wisdom to show you how to not go through it, you might need to go through it. And I have to respect that. And I need to respect that. And even if you, at the end of the day, all the experiences we have in this life, we have the choice of learning and growing through love or through suffering, through light or through the dark. We have the choice. There's no right or wrong. It's a choice. And the choice is based on our belief systems. When if you come from the Christian background, when scripture talks about good and evil, it's talking about life, living an abundant life, or living in death, living trapped and chained and tied down by judgment and separation. And so we think of death or evil as being this thing that's out to get us. It's a state of mind is what it is. It's a belief system and a state of mind that keeps you from living your authentic self. It is conforming to the world. It's conforming to ideas that say, I'm separate from you. Here's a great example. How many of you have had a friend that has split, that had a partner and they split? And now you're left with this choice of kind of being the friend with the one or being the friend with the other, but you feel like you can't be friends with both, even though you want to be friends with both. I know I had a similar experience in my life with a family member who split with her husband, and she is like near and dear to my heart. The relationship breaking up brought great pain and anguish and feelings of hurt and betrayal and all these things. So many people feel and felt the need to be loyal to her or loyal to him, right? Depending on which side of the family you're on or where your loyalties lie, right? But I came from a different perspective. I mean, my perspective was that you're both growing as people, and sometimes that's going to take you on a path together. Sometimes that's going to take you on a path apart, and that feels hard to hear because we live in a world that has told us that when you get married, it is for life, and shame on you if it doesn't last forever. And here's what I'll say. The relationships that you have in your life, they already last forever because they're eternal relationships. But it doesn't mean that you came here to this earth experience to forge those relationships forever. And a good example would be, I'm sure all of you can think of maybe a friend you had when you were a child that was a friend or even a family member that was so instrumental in your childhood, for the positive or the negative, right? Maybe they were like so wonderful and such a source of like love and support and comfort and safety or whatever. And then all of a sudden they weren't in your life because maybe one of you moved, or maybe they passed away, or, maybe something happened and you no longer could be around them or whatever. But it didn't diminish the importance of that relationship in that season of your life just because you're not still in a relationship with them. Or maybe you have, we often have seasons with friends where it's like you're really close for a really long time until you aren't. And when you aren't, you want to make it somebody's fault that you're not anymore. Same with when a romantic relationship ends. It's got to be someone's fault, right? But it doesn't. It can just be, my life is taking me this way and yours is taking me this way. And we don't have to pass judgment on that. We can just accept it for what it is and bless each other and go our separate ways. And so the more we sit in life and judge every situation, every person, every experience, every reaction, the more kind of in the dark, if we think of that spectrum of enlightenment to darkness, pure love and perfect love to pure fear, that is unity and separateness, right? The more we feel like we need to be, the more we feel we're separate, the more kind of in the dark we're living. And so a great example is my hair. I just got my hair cut off, if you didn't notice. I went to my hairdresser. I've been going to her for, I don't know, about a year and a half now, and I love her. And my hair has been longer. And she really excels at like long hairstyles, long hair with maybe some long layers in it. She's great at color. But I said, I'm ready to chop it off. And I showed her a haircut that was actually had much shorter layers than this. And she looked at that and she said, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not my strong suit. I don't think I can do it. And I'm just being straight with you. And I won't be offended if you want this and you want to go somewhere else and get it done. She said, I'll take it as short, I'll take it shorter for you and just tell me what you think. And, we can figure it out from there. And I loved that because she was being true to herself and she wasn't trying to be someone she wasn't. She wasn't trying to force the continuation of our relationship, our hairdresser to client relationship. Um, she wasn't clinging to me in that way, and she was just being very real. And she basically, and I'm putting it in my own words, she basically was saying, "I can take this journey with you to here. Beyond that, I'm not your girl." And that's okay, right? And I said, listen, you cut my hair as short as you feel comfortable doing it. I'm going to live with that for a few days or a few weeks. And if it works, it works. And if I feel like I want it shorter, I will go somewhere else and get it shorter. And then I'm coming right back to her anyway. It's no big deal because I really love, I really vibe with her. And I love how she does my hair. And so if I need to go somewhere else just to have them chop it off, that's fine. And what's funny, and she was fine with that. And it was like, we were just okay with like, wherever this is going to take us is where it's going to take us. But she had to go, she had to keep herself safe. I needed to keep myself safe. And I say keep myself safe, but I was in a different place than her in the sense that like, I'm okay giving you the reins. I literally said, treat me like the Barbie doll head. Like, don't feel like you're going to mess anything. Just do it. Just go for it. I won't be, upset if I don't love it. And so, but she took it as far as she could take it. And she is the whole reason I stuck with her after the first time is because her vision and her gift is so wonderful. But I could see that she had this limiting belief about what she was capable of. And because of that limiting belief, we got to a point where maybe we weren't going to be a match anymore, or at least not a match for that thing, right? That's okay. It doesn't have to be a judgment on it. It is what it is. And at the end of the haircut, she said, okay, tell me how you like it. And if you want it shorter next time, she said, I think I can go shorter from here. Like, I think like taking it to here, now I feel like I can go even further. But it was just a really cool experience. And I say all this, I feel like this message has been all over the place. And I don't even remember where I started other than I'm just going to let me center myself here. So I'll just say, and maybe we'll go to a card as well. Like life gives us experiences for our benefit. We choose whether we get the experiences and to learn and grow in love or learn and grow through suffering. We choose what kind of relationships we have in our life, what kind of experiences we have in our life. And the problem is we don't always know we're choosing. We are creators by design, so we are creating this life. But most of our belief systems that exist in this world teach you that your experience in this life is really as a result of everyone else, not as much yourself. And so we feel disempowered through most of our belief systems. So when we can find our power within, and finding the power within really means being able to have an experience and find the benefit of it. Even if you can't find it in that moment, even if it's such a painful experience that you can't find it in that moment, that's okay. Have your emotional reaction, have your emotional response. And that's what I've been doing over the last few weeks is like, it's been an up and down roller coaster. And I've been on this joy ride, right? I'm still on the joy ride. And when I'm up, I'm up. And when I'm down, what's been beautiful is I've been able to be down, dip down for a minute, but it's not for days. It's not for weeks. It's not for hours. When I had those two experiences this week where basically what happened is somebody came to me, told me something that was going on in their life and they were really struggling and it was really upsetting to them. And my response was, I responded from here instead of from here. And because of that, It wasn't the response they were hoping for. It wasn't the response they needed. They were looking for love. They were looking for understanding. They were looking for a shoulder to cry on. And I was giving them tactical, practical things to do and believe. And, so that is my old pattern. That's the way I used to live. That is a belief system that I have grown through over the last year and a half. And I've been put to the test many times successfully and really thought that I had fully integrated that belief. And by integrated, I mean I had not only did I believe it here and believe it here and believe it in my full body, but it was manifesting in my responses and how I responded in the situations that put those beliefs to the test. That's how you know you fully integrated, right? That's what it really means um, to believe, to know is when it's not something you have to think about doing. It's just your natural response. And so this week showed me twice, two different people, that Jennifer, you are reverting back to old patterns of feeling like it's your job to fix people or save people, that savior complex, right? When no one needs saving. They just need to wake up and remember who they are. Um, and that comes through experience. But just reminding me that you haven't fully integrated, like you've integrated the belief, but it's or you fully believe, but you haven't fully integrated the belief so that it's not just flowing from you naturally. You still have these moments where you want to fall back into those old patterns of behavior. And what really emerged for me last night was you still sometimes have a tendency to operate from your thinking mind instead of operating from your heart. Your default can still go to here instead of here. And that's because this is 50 years. I've been fit for 50 years or whatever age I was as a child that I flipped that switch, decided to operate from here instead of here. The world told me it was all about this mind, not this mind, not my higher mind. It was about my thinking mind. And so when I do that, it's not that they can't work together, but when I'm led by here, I'm tuning out from people's energy and what they need and what we can create together, what kind of magic and healing we can create together, right? Because the healing isn't necessarily about me teaching them anything. It could just be about me loving them or, us loving each other. Okay, let's close out with a card. Who wants to speak today? I think it's going to be the good old animal, spirit animal oracle. Can't go wrong with it. I just actually saw this beautiful. It popped up on my screen. This beautiful antelope. It was called like I forget Kirk's Dick or something. Something weird like that. DIK. Just to clarify. It had a really weird name. It was some kind of antelope. It was the cutest thing in Africa. But I was reading a little bit about it and it was very interesting because it sounds like it basically is an animal that lives in survival mode, that lives in like, um, fight or flight all the time. And I thought, and that's, nature does that. Nature mirrors for us, the world we're living, the world we're experiencing. Oh my goodness, a whole bunch of these just popped out, a whole bunch, but this one landed on my leg and all the rest of these landed on the floor. So, and they landed like this, some upside down and some right side up. So I'm going to go with this one. Rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. I love rabbit spirit or rabbit energy. I'm sorry. I don't know this card from this deck though. So this will be very interesting, a very interesting read. But what I see right away is I see some little bunnies here and I just see abundance. That's what I see. I just see abundance all around this bunny. So it makes sense. Now is a lucky time. Let's read it and see. And it's a 49, which breaks down to a 4. So that's about our foundational beliefs. It's about feeling safe, feeling secure. And that's the start of everything, right? That's the start of any growth process, growth cycle for us is feeling safe. A sunny meadow calls and rabbit spirit appears to lead you out of your dark warren and into the light so you can participate in a fertile and beautiful experience. It may seem safe below ground, but the magic happens when you come out and take the risk of being vulnerable and co-creating something new. You're being invited into a new life that you have no experience with, but have no fear. Today is also a time to be fruitful and productive as you enjoy rabbit spirit's sunny and prolific energy. At this time, whatever you intend to bring to life will find fertile ground. There's no mistakes, really. So when you're co-creating with spirit, oh, there's no mistakes really when you are co-creating with spirit, and that's true. So let new ideas spring to the surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility. And there's a protection message here, but I just want to say what I love about this is like part of the reason that I haven't been recording is that I haven't felt divinely inspired. And last night, even though I've had many times where I'm like, oh, I need to do a message on this topic or this topic, or, like I felt spirit inspiring topics, but not inspiring me to actually record. And so that could be, too, that I'm blocking that inspiration from some place of fear as well. So I wasn't sure. I just was going with the flow. But last night, the realization came to me that the reason I haven't been inspired to record was because I was falling back into that old pattern of thinking that these recordings needed to have some kind of healing effect on someone else, or that I had some burden or pressure to be recording a message that was um, yeah, that was going to fix someone else or heal someone else. And what I've just keep continuing to learn is that our journeys are just about our own healing, no one else's. And that when we heal ourselves, the unintended consequence of that is healing for others through our light, through our energy, through our love, through our hope, but not because we are setting out and seeking to do that for anyone else. It's because we're setting out and seeking to do it for ourselves. So that was a real light bulb moment for me last night, and the reason why I was able to record today. And I think for me, like it's letting me know that let new ideas spring to the surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility. I think there's more potential for what I'm doing. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that has anything to do with these videos or not, but I feel a new spring in my step, I'll say. And I'm hoping that if you're watching this video, you do as well. Okay, so let me read this protection message because I think this might be important. Vulnerability is required of you now, even if you don't feel safe. Act as if you trust that you will be okay, and soon you will see that you are okay. To create is to take risks. So at this fortunate, fertile time, banish your fears and recognize the real security is in immersing yourself in the process of co-creation. It's okay to admit that you really don't know how to deal with whatever's in front of you. This is where curiosity and not knowing can be a wonderful state of mind. Be playful now, admitting that you're at the beginning of something. Come on out to frolic in the sun's nurturing light because it's time to birth something new. I'll leave it right there. Thank you so much for being with me. Have a great, wonderful, blessed day.